From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, April 7th, 2017. Silver is trading at $18.35 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,265 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $1,189. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. military began attacking Syria Thursday night after talking up the idea of unilateral military intervention throughout the day. Preliminary reports are that more than 60 Tomahawk missiles have been fired against various targets inside Syria. Russian Deputy Ambassador Vladimir Safrankov warned earlier in the day of negative consequences if the U.S. followed through on its threat to attack, and now that they have, the big issue is the potential fallout if any Russian military casualties are caused in the U.S. airstrikes. Syrian state media issued a statement in response to the U.S. attacks, condemning American aggression and claiming unspecified losses as scores of U.S. missiles were fired at an airbase in the Homs province. Officials say they believe the U.S. strikes were meant to support the terrorists on the ground. U.S. officials are presenting the attacks as reprisal for an alleged gas attack by Syrian forces earlier in the week. The Syrian government has insisted they did not carry out any sort of chemical attack, but their conventional strike hit an al-Qaeda arms depot, which it turns out contained chemicals, which caused a leak. Russian officials have offered a similar assessment of the incident. U.S., British, and French officials all issued a statement insisting immediately that Syria had carried out a chemical attack and have sought to look past a potential investigation into the matter, calling for immediate reprisals, which the U.S. ultimately carried out well before any investigation could even happen. Syrian and Russian officials aren't the only ones to make such an assessment either, with former CIA officer Philip Giraldi giving an interview also saying he doubted the U.S. narrative and that a lot of figures in the U.S. intelligence community are awfully nervous about the U.S. pushing their line as unquestioned fact, absent serious evidence. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports YouTube announced on Thursday it is cracking down on fake news channels by no longer placing advertisements on them until they've reached 10,000 overall views. YouTube, which is owned by Alphabet Incorporated, also the parent company of Google, announced changes after several big companies pulled their advertising from the company because their ads were appearing with objectionable content. The online video service said the changes are designed to make sure channels are legitimate and not stealing content. YouTube is adding a review process for creators to join the YouTube Partner Program, which began in 2007. Ariel Bardin, Vice President of Product Management, said in a statement, "After a creator hits 10,000 lifetime views on the channel, we'll review their activity against our policies. If everything looks good, we'll bring the channel into the YouTube Partner Program and begin serving ads against their content." Several advertisers, including Walmart, General Motors, JP Morgan Chase, Pepsi, Starbucks, and Johnson & Johnson, pulled out of YouTube after their ads appeared in extremist hate speech videos. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Twitter Incorporated on Thursday filed a federal lawsuit to block an order by the U.S. government demanding it reveal who is behind an account opposed to President Donald Trump's tough immigration policies. According to the suit filed in San Francisco federal court, Twitter cited freedom of speech as the basis for not turning over records about the account at alt_USCIS. The account is claimed to be the work of at least one federal immigration employee. The acronym USCIS refers to U.S. Customs and Immigration Services, and the account describes itself as immigration resistance. Following Trump's inauguration in January, anonymous Twitter feeds that borrowed the names and logos of more than a dozen U.S. government agencies appeared to challenge the president's view on climate change and other issues. They call themselves alt accounts. Twitter has a record of litigating in favor of user privacy. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.